Alright guys, it is September 27th and I am going to deploy my deer cams today. I'm doing a little later than I normally do this year. Life's just been a little busy and crazy lately, so it is what it is. I don't really rely on my deer cams that much. What I do rely on them for is just seeing if a deer is in a general area or not. I put my cams on the outside perimeters of the properties that I hunt. I don't really put them in close or near where I'm hunting or plan on hunting. I'm using them for what I believe they were intended for. Just pure surveillance, observation, getting a picture of a deer one time, maybe multiple, knowing he's in the area, then going into that property and boots on the ground, scout, hunt that deer down, and go at it that way. I don't put cameras very close to where I hunt. I am using cell cameras, and I have noticed in certain areas and certain properties that the deer know they're there. I've had some bucks jump right out of their skin. Others, like here, this is why I stopped right here. You see this big power line behind me? Wherever I have cameras near this big power line on some of these properties that I hunt, them deer don't pay attention to it. And I think that they're so used to the waves that are coming off of these power lines that they're desensitized to these cameras. Now I take the same camera and the same setup, same height, how I do my cameras, to a different property where this power line's not at, and that's where I get some negative reactions. So most people probably already had their cameras out for a month or two, maybe more. I'm just now putting them out. I think too many guys rely on these cameras nowadays. Not everybody, obviously. That's not a blanket statement, but I think too many people wait on what that camera's saying, showing them, etc. And you will never be able to replace woodsmanship and boots on the ground. So, like I said, purely surveillance on the edges of the properties where I think they're entering and exiting, going to food, something like that, on food. That's about it. I'm just trying to get a picture, because when it's corn like this, a sea of corn, you can't glass from the road. You can't do the stuff that I like to do necessarily. So you got to use these as a tool, not as a crutch, not as your everything in deciding your hunt. So I'm going to put them out. I'm going to see if I get a picture of a buck that I want to pursue, and then get in and get dirty with it. So I'm not going to be able to hunt the first 4 days of my opener here. I will be in Wisconsin at the National Dairy Expo. So realistically, it being the 27th and everything, my cameras will still be out for over a week. So that'll be plenty of time to get a picture of a buck that is using the area. I believe for the most part here in my area, the shifting is pretty much done for the most part. I mean, they're always moving and everything. Don't take all this stuff, so literal. But for the most part, the bucks have moved out of their summer ranges into their fall ranges here. I also like this time of year for putting the cameras out a little bit closer to season, because of, obviously, most all the bucks are going to be out of velvet now. When they're out of velvet, they have to rub. That's all there is to it. So that'll be some fresh sign to look for there. So stay tuned. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to put out my cams, get a week of intel, find out where I possibly want to sit for the first little bit of the season, and we'll get with it. So here we go. That's a nice buck there. Little buck right there. decent one right there, though. Washout planter here. Nice trail. This right here is a half mile in the center of a section. This is why you do this, guys, right here. This is why you do this. So I'm not the only person that can hunt this property. And obviously there's Cam here, which means he's gonna probably be hunting here. I wanna see if I can slip around and find a stand here real quick. See how serious of a guy this is. Whether he's mobile, whether he's just got the cam. Most of these guys around here only gun hunt. So I'm just gonna do a quick glass through here and see what's going on. It's always changing. We were the only ones back in here last year. That's why you gotta do this. If I would have just come in here and set a camera, I would have that deer, have that nice buck right there on camera, never knowing if this cam's sitting right in here and somebody else is planning on coming in here doing the same thing, and then we're set up looking at each other. So nothing's ever gonna replace this, guys. That simple. Get out here. Some people be like, oh, you're going out here right before season, you're gonna fuck it all up. Well, yes I am. That's kind of my motto. I'm out here, I'm gonna fuck shit up. Because that's the reason why. And you'd be surprised what you can get away with. And it's a cell cam. Reveal X. So you gotta be here somewhere. Surprisingly not seeing much. This guy may be mobile. Alright, so another thing I need to add about this spot. I do not see a stand in here, so this guy's probably mobile. This is like a 8-acre woodlot. It's got corn all the way around. Access is from right here to the south. There's no way two guys can hunt this, and how this guy could be accessing this could screw this whole thing up and blow this whole thing out. So I'm gonna do a speed tour around the whole perimeter here and just get a feel for it, see what I can find. But I don't see a permanently hung stand, which is kind of shocking because that's tended to be how these guys hunt in here. So it's interesting. I'm not walking quiet. I'm not trying to be a predator. I'm just minding my own business in here, talking obviously and letting these deer know I'm here. Sometimes when I'm doing this, I even have my phone playing some songs, radio as loud as it can go. Just taking everything in, guys, looking around, looking for the subtle sign, looking for the big sign, checking on the acorns, looking at the browse. You got corn right here, looking on the edge of that, see where they're feeding heavier in spots where they may be coming in and out of this little woodlot. All the little things. So like right here, this is subtle, I'd say. Very, very light rub. Not very fresh. Fresh enough the bark's on the ground. I don't see any velvet. But look. Damn near boot high. Yeah, it's a decent sized tree, but I'm not looking for something like that. That's probably a 1.5-year-old basket 8-point. You know, guys, after you do this long enough, you just know. I mean, I've literally been recording right over here's that other camera. And I'm like, okay, this other guy, he's gonna have, since this is such a small woodlot, he's gonna have another camera in the opposite corner. Wouldn't you know? Wouldn't you know? So what this is telling me is this whole little woodlot here, probably not even gonna hunt it. What I am gonna do is ask the landowner, be like, hey, do you got a grandson hunting this year or something? You know, I noticed a couple of cameras out here as I was walking, see what information I can get and see, oh yeah, he's in college or whatever. You know, I got to do some digging here now, see what I can find out. But and those cameras are in such a predictable place. I mean, that guy, to be honest, I had a camera right here, which is about 80 yards, 60 yards from that other camera, facing the corner here, and it needs to be right here because of the way this is. This is a low spot right here, and it comes into this woodlot, and you got all this bedding right here, so these deer will come out. You can see this trail right here. This is the spot he needs to have a camera because he's missing all these deer coming through here, and the bigger guys are going to be right here. You know what I was just saying, guys? How this guy's probably got a camera in every corner of the woods. We got 1, 2. I walked to the other corner of this woods here, about 150, 160 yards away. Number 3. Up here on the top of the hill, this corner that every deer's gonna cut. They're gonna cut right back here, right along this transition zone, facing this way. Crazy. So who's to bet that we find camera number 4 in the other corner? Well, guys, I'm in the last corner. Wouldn't you know? Don't you know? That's for you, Jared. So yeah, no one to hold them, no one to fold them. This one's getting folded until I get some more information on who and what's going on here. But from what I can tell, they've been out here quite a bit. So on to the other side of the road. I'm not even going to put a camera out here. I don't really see a spot that I even want to here in this wood. What I might do is go through the corn and go to the property line over there where I know them deer are going to be probably bedding now because of here, and I'm going to check that out. It's just going to make it hard for hunting with the prevailing winds and everything, but we have had a lot of east winds this year, so I'm probably going to go throw a camera over there if there's not one in that corner too. This is crazy. So I've heard guys talking about, you know, walking into a woodlot and there just being cameras the whole perimeter, and that is what we got going on here. So, but maybe this guy is using them as a crutch. All right, guys, a couple more thoughts here while I'm thinking about it. I just walked over to the other side, and wouldn't you know, hammered with rubs sign. Acorns are dropping right next to the corn, and what you got to take into consideration is the surrounding properties' hunting pressure and their access. Well, with the prevailing wind that we have around here, it wouldn't make a lot of sense most of the time to people to hunt that side. So what I'm referring to that side is the east side of this property. Our prevailing wind is a southwest, west, northwest wind. So with that being said, in your general thinking, you're like, oh, well, the neighbors have the access. Well, they got to walk through all of the bedding. They got to, you know, how they're entering it and how they're hunting and how they have their stands. They're walking through all the good stuff. So you got to watch your access, but you got to give the deer their security and wind. So really, the prevailing wind, they're going to want to come to the corn, to the acorns, to this property when the bedding's there. So you got to think about your access, where your wind's getting to get to that spot, and give the deer the wind. So I'm guessing how the guys are hunting this property and been coming in here and accessing this, they got this all blown out and pushed over onto the neighbors, which is actually a good thing, because I know these guys are not going to hunt a measly little fence row on the other side, because it's not fun to get to. They got to walk through all this corn, walk the edge, walk a half-mile back. That's what I'm going to have to be doing. I'm going to have to be up at the road and walk that line a half-mile back to get to where I'm at, to keep the wind where I need it to be, to where I'm not crossing where I just hung that camera. So a lot going on, a lot of moving pieces here, guys. This is why you just can't sit back and watch your cameras or sit back and play it safe. You got to get out there. I would not have known any of this if I just come hung a camera right here in this good spot and not done this walk. Been stepping over other hunters the whole time. They come in here. Well, you know, I mean, this is, you got to get out here. You got to do this. It seems so simple, but I don't think a lot of people are doing it. And they're like, oh, it's the first week of October or whatever. We got all season. No, you don't. This other guy could come out here, get lucky one time, and shoot the deer you're after or whatever, or the neighbors. I mean, you just got to be aggressive all the time. You got to be smart about it, but you got to be aggressive all the time. And you got to constantly be learning and moving with what is happening around you. Food sources are changing daily. Everything. Hunting pressure is changing. You got to capitalize. And the only way to do that is to be present. So I'm going to go to the other side of the road here, check it out. I'm only hanging the one camera over here, I think. I may go to the far west side of this property, but once again, those people really have it messed up because of our prevailing wind. Those guys have all the bedding on that side, and they put all their stands right on the line, so it's tough to hunt with them there, and they're walking through, pushing all the deer out as they come out, ruining their own hunts. So I feel a lot more confident being on this east side of this property this year from what I'm seeing. We'll just have to play it day by day here. Like I said, I'm going to talk to landowner, try to get a scoop on what's going on out here. They might just have the cameras out for gun season. I don't know. But what I'm seeing here as far as ATV tracks and stuff, I'm pretty sure they're going to be out here during archery. So, all right, let's keep going. Hopefully this isn't boring you guys too much, but this is real world in the time, central lower Michigan hunting right here. So, here we go. All right, guys, out here at a new property I just picked up. It's pretty much all fields with a couple little wood pockets, like actually out in the center. And then like 15 to 30 foot wide fence rows. So I'm thinking as far as rut goes, this is going to be a really good spot. Just found a low spot here in the field that's a washout, and then comes out of the woods right here with a couple heavy trails, and there's a lot of tracks out in here. So I just set a camera right here inside that wood lot, and there's a couple trails that split and then come all into one. I put it on that there. So first cam hung out here. I'm gonna set cams out here heavy because obviously I just picked this up first year out here. I will be a little more aggressive out here, just trying to see if there's anything out here that I really want to target. This is going to be really easy to break down, obviously. So I will probably put cameras closer to where I would be hunting out here, just because of the setup and layout of the property. But I got all the cams hung at the other side. My phone died for a minute, so I had to put that on the charger here. So I didn't videotape. I went to the south side of that, like I was talking, after I hung those cameras, not a single camera, hardly any tracks, nothing. So there's one of two things going on. We either got a trespasser over there, or he does have a grandson or something over there, and they seen a big buck last year there or this year or something, and they just got that place covered. But there was hardly any, well, there was no sign of them on the south side, which is the better hunting. So I don't know. I did not find one camera over there. So maybe he put all his eggs in one basket, or maybe he's going to put them all there for a little bit and then move them all over to the other side. Who really knows? But got some investigating to do on that. But I'm really excited. I love this, tearing apart new properties and learning. I almost enjoy that more than anything now, to be honest. So just so you guys know, I am knock on doors, permission, public land hunting here in Michigan. I don't pay any money, no leasing, nothing. I'm on the same playing field as most everybody else. So all the properties I have that are knock on door, other people hunt. So it's similar to public, but not quite as bad, obviously. So just wanted to clarify that. Some people think that I got all these manicured properties and leases, and not the case. I wish. I'm not that prideful, but don't, and I can't afford stuff like that. So all right, we're gonna get back to it. But right here you can see this beat path right here, all these tracks. So looking good so far. I'm only 200 yards into the property here, so all right, let's keep going. All right guys, just cruise along here pretty slow, and look what we found. So there's one of the other people that hunt this property's stand. You know, why are the deer cameras in the stands always in the corners? Interesting. Check this out, guys. There's mud on all this stuff. See the water down there. Look at the amount of tracks. Look at the path here. We're gonna get a camera here. Alright, well this is gonna be a fun one. A lot of potential here. I'm just on the edge of the thick, but second you walk along this edge or step in, you're done. So this is going to be all day sits coming in the morning. There's no way I'm going to be able to access this in the afternoon if they're on their bed, because you can see me coming a mile away. Let's get down at their level bedded. You can see a very, very long way. Here's a low, swampy, thick area. Obviously a natural funnel at the field here. I'm going to hang the camera somewhere right in here. I'm sure there's going to be a trail coming in here. This is the parallel trail that I'm on right now. I'm going to hang a camera right in here. Look at there. Open. Look at the browse on the corn out there. Narrows down. Just like I said, trail going there, parallel trail. So probably gonna hang the camera back in here facing this way to cover all this whole corner. I think maybe try to catch the edge of this field in case they're walking down the edge. So one of these two trees here probably. Okay, so I thought that this might be bedding right in here, but it's pretty wet in there. Not saying that there isn't some here going on the edges. But not as good at bedding as it looks on Onyx. Another reason you got to get in here and look at this stuff. Sometimes it isn't what it seems, guys. So it's just a bummer how open this is. This is going to be tough hunting. The way this lays out, this is probably going to be a late season rut spot, to be honest. Catch them cruising, all day sets going on. Could be some early season. There's some acorns in here, but for the most part, what I'm seeing here is just morning sit. And it's going to be tough to beat them back in here, but with all this corn around here, I think it could be done. And like I said, the only other bedding they have right here is all out in these fields. Hey, there we go, guys, right there. So deer was bedded right up here in this green, right on the edge overlooking the field and the access. So I'm walking along, looking down constantly, trying to cut a decent track, seeing where everything's heading, how they're using it. So we got corn over there, real open. Not seeing any historical rubs or sign. See a little fresh one there now that I mention it. And that's up there between knee and waist high. Small tree, but that don't matter. I like the height. And it's pretty tore up too. The little deer will be lower and they'll just kind of fluff it around. When you get a bigger buck and it's that high and the tree's just shredded, he's been putting some pressure on it. There's an old stand. So I got somebody setting up in here. Access is just horrible. Easy for the hunter. Skylit like a son of a gun entering this. If there's any deer bedding on the edge of that. I think this is all feeding, guys. Obviously there was a deer bedded right in here. That's the only overgrown spot in this whole woods. It's up there on that little hill. Got the sun, got the wind. And that is a homemade deal there. It's not that old either, so it's probably being hunted. Boo! Nobody wants to see that. Okay, so this is where we're at. Wide open woods. Not a lot of topography to kind of even. There's this little ditch right here that I'm down in, but it only starts here. Not a real good way to access this woods, guys. Not seeing a lot of sign. All the signs definitely over here on this end. I could see this spot being sweet in the rut, like I said, though. Cruising through. Good cover going in between the big sections of woods. So whichever way the wind was coming, I'd be on one side or the other. So if the wind was coming out of the south, I'd be on the edge of that side. That way, when that buck's walking through here, he'll be taking that parallel trail, scent checking this whole woodlot going to the next one. All right, guys, standing at buck's bed. Little thorn trees. This is what he could see. I mean, he is just off of this parallel trail too. Alright, so that buck's bed's just there behind me. And where was it? Right there. We got all these acorns right here. This is why early season's so tough. He's bedded right next to his feed tree with his cover. What more does he need? There's no way to get to him. And he ain't gonna move that far. My guess is he'd head to this corn. It's all open wheat stubble behind me. I doubt he's going there. Matter of fact, when he got up and ran, he ran to the corn. Just too open in here. Good for the deer, bad for me.